I know the setup is a little different. The lighting is a little different. But us all celebrating the Ravens getting the win, we doing that all the same. Team, keep it clean. I'm here to share my post-game thoughts from the game we all watched together between the Baltimore Ravens and the New York Giants, where the Baltimore Ravens successfully took down the Giants. And we know they're not the same Giants that they once were. Well, that was a really, really long time ago. We know they've been down in the dumps for a really, really long time. They've been struggling, and they were a beat-up, bruised-up team. They were tired. They was, going into this game, I think, 2-11, something like that. It was just all kinds of bad for the Giants. But what I will say, as y'all already know, that has been a recipe for disaster for the Baltimore Ravens. We done seen it too many times to where Baltimore Ravens, they come in as this big bad team, even though they ain't been the big bad Ravens this year. They were sitting at 8-5, but they come into these games as the big bad team and like, oh yeah, Ravens should blow them out. They should take care of them with ease. Oh, this should be a stress-free Ravens game. And what do Ravens end up doing? Losing, playing down to the competition, coming out flat and being flat the whole game, and allowing an opponent to hang around for just so long throughout the game, just long enough to where that opponent makes one or two key plays at the end of the game and they end up escaping out of there with a win. We've seen it too many times as Ravens fans, so even though we did expect the Baltimore Ravens to blow the Giants out, this score is not a surprise at all. It's not a shocker, but there was still something in the back of our minds where we was thinking, Ravens, don't be Ravens today. Don't do the Ravens type of stuff today. Do not let it go down. And they didn't. Team, keep it clean. We about to talk about it. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn the notifications on. We are at 79,000 subscribers. Let's get to 80,000. Let's make it there, man. Let's make it happen, my friends. I appreciate all y'all for even being, like, this is crazy to think that there are over 79,000 people that decided to subscribe to this channel. Like, that's a lot of crazy going around, but I love y'all so much. I appreciate y'all so much, and I thank y'all for the way that y'all support. But make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and leave a like on the video because it'll be helping out a whole lot. Now, in this game, where do we even start? Let's start with the offense, because I know we all love talking about Lamar Jackson throw a bunch of touchdowns in the game and whatnot. It's a beautiful thing to see, and it was very, very beautiful today. The way that this game started, we know Lamar Jackson, he said his mom cussed him out last week for not running enough. He said, Lamar, you better take off. You need to hit them running lanes. You need to run more. And Lamar was like, okay. And I told you, I went like, if your mom, you could hear something from a lot of other people, but when your mom said it, especially when you got a healthy, deep respect for your mom too, and it's like, oh, man, okay, mommy done told me that. All right, let me tighten up. So Lamar's mom, she said, tighten up. And he was on point this game. Now, he didn't run for no, like, crazy amount. I think what he had, like 6 carries for like 65 yards. But Lamar, he was out there doing his thing. He was very decisive with his runs too. But Lamar was also playing around on his runs. Like, we saw the run where this man was so disrespectful to the Giants. It's like, and I always talk about how Lamar, whenever we've had the opportunity to talk with Lamar, whenever we've seen him in person and whatnot, he's always been this polite guy, super humble guy, despite all the accolades, all the money that he makes, and just his popularity, his notoriety. He's always a super humble guy, very respectful, very, very nice, engaging, super, super friendly guy. But today, I did not see that Lamar on that run. I saw a disrespectful Lamar Jackson on that run because this guy was literally running on an NFL field with, 21 other players on that same field. And this dude was running and pulling his pants up at the same time, still making people miss, still getting positive. This was all during the play, by the way. I said, oh, that boy Lamar Jackson, you are disrespectful, man. But we loved it. So shout out to Lamar Jackson. But in this game, the passing in this game, Lamar Jackson started off this game and he had that fumble. When he fumbled the ball, he fumbled it on a run where he got positive yards, got a first down, but then he fumbled the ball like right at the end of the play. The New York Giants defender, he was trying to strip the ball from Lamar, and it worked. And Lamar, at first I was thinking, hopefully Lamar was down already. But when I saw Lamar get up, I didn't see him fighting. I didn't see him pointing down or nothing like that. I didn't see no other Ravens pointing down either. I said, oh. And then when I saw Lamar go like this, I said, yep, that's on him. And he is acknowledging that it's on him. But it is what it is. He going to make up for it. And boy, did he ever. I think his first touchdown, it went to Mark Andrews like the next, 2 drives later. Because on the first drive, it was his fumble. Then the second drive, the Ravens, they had a 4th and 1. And I'm thinking, this is the Giants. Go for it. Ravens, like, yo, go for it. It's 4th and 1. And even if you don't it's the Giants. Go for it. Ravens came out there in 4th and 1. They had Derrick Henry lined up. I think Lamar Jackson was under center. And I said, okay. And Lamar, but he was just trying to get them to jump off sides, and the Ravens did not, in fact, go for it. And I actually think that this was the very first time when everybody, all of us, no matter how you feel about the Baltimore Ravens and their 4th down tendencies, I think we were all in agreement that the Ravens, they should go for that. They should go for this 4th down. Everybody was. This might have been the first one ever, but they didn't go for it. Okay, y'all Ravens, y'all are some trolls. But it was okay because then the next drive, Lamar actually threw the touchdown pass to Mark Andrews. So great route by Mark Andrews, great way to find that space, and great way by Lamar to find Mark Andrews. You know, they got the connection. Lamar Jackson called Mark Andrews one of the GOATs because Mark Andrews, I believe he broke a touchdown record by the Baltimore Ravens with that touchdown. So shout out to him because he is just... The way Mark Andrews started this season, started off slow. Remember, he got into the car accident, and so he was dealing with that. So I think he's dealing with some injuries and whatnot. Started the season off really, really slow. And with Isaiah Likely, I was saying after last season, I said Isaiah Likely should be tight end 1. He should surpass Mark Andrews as Lamar Jackson's tight end 1. I ain't want to never get rid of Mark Andrews because I know a lot of people earlier this season, they were like, trade Mark Andrews, get rid of him. I was like, no. You keep him. You definitely keep him. But let Isaiah Likely take that role. And I think Isaiah Likely started off as tight end 1. Remember that Chiefs game, but then slowly, remember that interview where because Mark Andrews hadn't really been doing much of anything. And there was, I don't remember what game it was. I don't know if it was the Cowboys game or what, but it was a game where Mark Andrews hadn't recorded a single catch. And it's like, oof, that was the first time in a very, very long time that happened. And they interviewed Mark Andrews, whether it was after that game or shortly after that game, but they said, Mark Andrews, how do you feel about not being involved with the offense? How do you feel? And Mark Andrews said, I'm being patient, and my time will come. Boy, that's it ever. Now that boy been balling ever since. Mark Andrews ain't looked back. So he is clearly tight end 1, been tight end 1 for the Ravens for the majority of the season. Once he really got going, he just never looked back. Isaiah Likely still been contributing, but not nearly as much as Mark Andrews. And yeah, it's nice to have both of them though. It's nice to have 2 guys that can both be tight end 1. It's a beautiful thing. But I was definitely wrong about that one. So Ravens tight end 1, Mark Andrews, obviously. Shout out to him though, because he be coming through like crazy. That is Lamar's safety blanket, and we can see every single reason why. So that was Lamar Jackson's first passing touchdown. His next one went to Rashad Bateman. And Rashad Bateman, I said, oh, okay, Bate got 1 touchdown. And he was like, you know what? I like being in this end zone. It's pretty cool to be here. So Lamar hit him again on a deep ball. So Bateman got in the end zone not once but twice today. So it's like, oh, that was a beautiful thing to see. And then later on in the game, not the next touchdown, but a touchdown, the Lamar Jackson 5th touchdown came to Justice Hill. And Justice Hill, I initially thought that the pass might hit the ground. I was like, ooh, I don't know if I can celebrate if this is a touchdown or not. They may call this back, say it's incomplete, but they didn't. Justice Hill got the touchdown. And when he was running, I'm thinking, one of the players on the other team, they're going to come over and hit Justice Hill any second now. But the way Justice Hill was running, I was like, hold up, there's nobody in front of him. Is he actually about to run this into the end zone? And he did. Wide open. Nobody was by him. I said, okay, let's go. Look what a check down could do for you, my friends. It's a beautiful thing. And I'm so happy that the Ravens moved on from Greg Roman and because Todd Monken has just allowed Lamar Jackson to grow so much in his game. Because we remember with Lamar Jackson, check downs, that wasn't a thing. That wasn't a thing. That boy did not take no check downs back then. That was not for him at all. But under Todd Monken over these past 2 years, Lamar has involved the check down in his game so much, and it's made such a big difference. So shout out to Todd Monken. Shout out to Lamar. Shout out to both of them for being a nice pair that we have seen a lot of growth from. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a very important thing. Growth is super, super important. Now, I did skip one of his touchdowns. That's because it went to Tez Walker. I have been saying it during the stream. I have been saying it for the longest. Like, people ask about Tez Walker. What's going on with Tez Walker? What's happening to Tez Walker? I say, look, the Ravens, they ain't feeling Tez Walker like that. They ain't on Tez Walker. They don't really care nothing about Tez Walker like that. They got him on special teams, but on offense, we ain't gonna see him at all. And even during the game, I was saying the same thing. Like, people were asking, hey, what's up with Tez Walker? And I said, we're not gonna see Tez Walker. I said, don't count on it. Don't hold your breath. We ain't gonna see no Tez Walker on offense. Lamar Jackson threw his 4th touchdown to some tall receiver, did a little toe drag swag in the back of the end zone. I say, who is that? Who is that? You know, sometimes you feel like you got to take off the glasses to actually see clear. And I said, hold up, that was Tez. He actually threw Tez Walker was on offense, and his very first NFL catch went for a touchdown. I said, oh, do we got another Torrey Smith? Let's hope so. I know it ain't. Let's see. But I was really happy for Tez Walker, man, because got a lot against him. He got a lot against him, a lot in front of him right now. And with him, he got the opportunity and he made the most of it and he capitalized on it. And it went great. It went great. And I was just like, wow. I was very, very surprised by the Baltimore Ravens. So we got a lot more to talk about with that specific catch, that specific player, and another player who it could possibly impact. We'll talk about that later on this week, though. But that was the offense. The offensive line in this game, they were all right. Derrick Henry, he was slipping a lot early on in the game. I said he need to change his cleats. But Derrick Henry, when you go to the ground game, we talked about the passing game with Derrick Henry on the ground, 14 carries for 67 yards, so nothing crazy. Lamar Jackson, 6 for 65, so that was solid. Rasheen Ali, 8 for 32. Most of his were just closing out the game at the very, very end. Justice Hill had 2 for 7, and Josh Johnson, that was to close the game out. He had 1 for -1, but not that it don't count because it goes toward the overall numbers, but yeah, you get it. So running the ball, they had 31 carries for 170 yards. They averaged 5.5 yards per carry. But not a crazy day at the office for the Baltimore Ravens in their run offense, but it also didn't need to be. So they got their contributions, and they scored 35 points. Scored 35 points, but again, while this was expected, we are still very grateful that they did it because there's been plenty of other times when we expect the Baltimore Ravens offense to go against a much lesser opponent and to show out, and they don't. So when they do, when they take care of business the way that they should, we will always and forever appreciate it big time. Now, something else that we appreciate for sure, before we get into the defense, before we get into the special teams, let's talk about Heart of the City and how they really taking care of you. Heart of the City with these revenge season hoodies. If you want yours, the link is in the description. You can use code Ingraven30 to get 30% off your entire order. These hoodies are $25. They got so many different hoodies for you. They got a Zay Flowers Human Joystick hoodie. They got a Charm City hoodie. They got an Ed Reed hoodie. They got this really, really nice hoodie too with a raven standing over a skull with a poem. They just check out all of this stuff and use code. When you check out, use code Ingraven30 to get 30% off of your order. I know a lot of y'all done told me that y'all done got hoodies from Heart of the City already, and I ain't heard nothing but positive stuff from y'all, which I appreciate, which they appreciate too. So y'all make sure y'all continue to check them out. Now, let's check out this special teams. Because special teams, I'm glad that they didn't have to be special, but I'm glad they all did their job and they all fulfilled everything that they needed to do. Because Justin Tucker, he was not asked to kick a single field goal, which I was like, ooh, okay, God, I ain't mad at that. But with Justin Tucker, he did have to kick 5-point after touchdowns, and he made every single one. Not a single one was close to hitting the uprights. It wasn't hanging left, anything like that. So great job, Justin Tucker, Jordan Stout, long snap, all that stuff. Thank you. Great job. Jordan Stout, though. Justin Tucker was doing kicks early on, and then later on, Jordan Stout, he had actually did a kickoff, and I was like, I don't know. So we'll see about that. But then on the flip side with special teams in the return game, we noticed that the first kick return was Justice Hill. He got a really nice kick return to start us off. Then Rasheen Ali, he got a kick return later on. Obviously, the Giants, there wasn't much kick returning going on because the Giants scored 14 points, so there wasn't many kickoffs from them. But on punt return, Tylan Wallace, looks like he is officially done as Ravens punt returner. Desmond King, he looked good back there. And I was not familiar with his punt return game. But he looked good back there. He looked comfortable. And he was doing his thing back there. So he looked like, hey, any second he could break one. And that's what we love to see from our punt returners. And I guess the Baltimore Ravens felt like, look, Tylan, we tried you. We tried it out. It ain't been really explosive this year. So you know what? We're going to go in another direction. So I don't know, Tylan Wallace, he been solid back there. He ain't been game-breaking or anything like that, but he been solid back there as a return man. So, I don't know. Could this possibly mean that he can have an increased role on offense? Maybe especially with the whole Deontay Johnson. I don't know. I don't know right now. So, I guess we'll really see moving forward. We'll see more in this Steelers game. We'll get more of an answer to that question. But we'll, of course, talk about it more throughout the week. But get into the defense. The defense, in my opinion, they had a really, really good game today. And, again, they should have. But, again, as we talked about throughout this video, there's so many games where the Ravens we expect them to do things and they don't do them. But defense took care of business today. And yes, I know they gave up 14 points. And yes, I know they gave up 14 points to the New York Giants at that. But they took care of business. And when you think about the 14 points that the New York Giants got, a lot of those points and yards on those drives were aided by penalties. Especially the first 7 that the Giants got. Oh, there was a roughing the passer penalty on Matabike. There was a pass interference on Brandon Stevens. Then when they got a stop on 3rd and goal, they called it was illegal hands to the face on Adafe away. I said, oh my goodness. And I just, when they got that touchdown, they got a rushing touchdown on that drive. I couldn't even be mad at the defense because I'm like, they just keep getting put into these bad situations over and over. The roughing the passer, I thought that penalty was a little questionable. Even the pass interference on Brandon Stevens, I thought that was a little bit questionable. But the hands to the face, I mean, that was clear as day. That gave them a fresh set of downs, and boom, they got a touchdown after that. The second touchdown that they got, that was the Malik Neighbors catch where he caught it on Desmond King. It looked like a little shaky catch, but I don't think it was enough to overturn it. So it was a touchdown, so it was what it was. But I'm like, I wasn't tripping. 35-14, man. Ravens, they took care of business, and I'm glad that they did not make this a stressful game. I'm glad they didn't make this one of those Baltimore Ravens games that we know they're capable of making it. I'm glad that they took care of business, though, and they closed it out. It was a game where Lamar, he got to sit out the end of the fourth quarter, and I'm just glad. And I know I was somebody, and we talked about it in our stream, where I was thinking, man, I would love to see Lamar get 6 passing touchdowns, even more touchdowns, but I did say, but no, it'd be the smart thing to just sit him. Just sit him for the rest of the game. I know we want the nice numbers, we want the pretty, and his stats are very, very pretty. They're beautiful. But you got to be smart about this thing, especially you're going against the Steelers in a couple of days, like literally a couple of days, not even a full week. You're going against the Steelers in 6 days, so that's going to be a tough game. But I expect the Ravens to bounce back in that one against the Steelers. I really, really do. They are due for it. It's been time. Hopefully, I don't know about the game between the Eagles and the Steelers is still going on. The game between the Lions and the Bills is still going on. So go Lions, go Eagles. We'll see how those games turn out. Maybe by the time that you see this video, those games, maybe they'll be finished, maybe not, but we'll see. But yeah, hopefully they can take care of business. Sort of just help us out a little bit. Help us out. The Eagles beating the Steelers by helping us get the division possibly, and then help us out Lions by beating the Bills so Lamar can get back to his MVP. But yeah, back to the defense. The defense, they did their thing in this game. They do got to clean up the penalties, though. The Ravens team as a whole got to clean up the penalties, but the penalties this game, 99% of them came on the Ravens defense. Now, while, again, some of them were questionable, some of them were a little suspect, but there were a lot that weren't suspect, like Nate Wiggins, he had a pass interference called too, and there was some other stuff that went on, but Ravens got to clean that up. They got to clean that up, and that is just one of their biggest issues right now as a team, because that holds them back from greatness. It really, really does. And that allows teams to just hang around, that allows teams to get points, that allows teams to get yards, it allows too many negatives for the Baltimore Ravens, too many positives for the other team when you get penalties, because it takes away from everything that you do, everything that you work on, and it aids them. So you got to clean up the penalties big time. This team is sitting at 9-5 right now. So record, as we always say, it could be a lot worse. Could be a whole lot worse. Could be a lot better too. But the Ravens are right in the middle of things. They're 9-5. So I do remember that last week, and I guess this would still stand, there was a crazy stat that somebody put out. I forget who put it together, but there was a stat that said how these teams' records would be switched if all of their one-score games ended up going the opposite way. Baltimore Ravens' record literally stayed the same. They were still 8-5. If all of their one-score games just switched, then they will still be 8-5. So it says a lot about them. It says a lot about just how good that they've been, and the games where they've been decided by more than one score. So they've handled their own business this season, and we just love to see stuff like this. We love to see games like this where the Ravens take care of it and they get the job done. So shout out to the Baltimore Ravens for closing it out, for getting it done. Shout out to y'all, team, keep it clean. I appreciate y'all, all of y'all I appreciate y'all support every single day. Thank you. It's not even just a weekly thing. It's y'all support every single day. Y'all do it in a crazy way. Y'all do it in just a ginormous, gigantic way. I love y'all. I wish I could give all of y'all a big hug. In fact, you know what? I will. Big. There we go. So, big hug to all of Team Keep It Clean. I really, really appreciate y'all. So make sure, again, you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn them notifications on so you don't miss a single thing, not a single update on our Baltimore Ravens. And also leave a like on the video because it helps out a ton. I love y'all. Hope this really starts your week the right way. And we out.